Hey, you all. Welcome back to Mary Expressions, a channel where I take the time to share a little bit of myself with you all. And I invite you all to come on in and do the same with me, through your thoughts, your opinions, your perceptions, your expressions. Like, come on in, y'all. Come on in. Go ahead, hit that thumbs up as you're making your way into the room. Also, hit subscribe if you have not already subscribed yet, so that anytime I drop a video, y'all will get notified, right? All right, enough of that. I want to know, how are you doing? How's my YouTube family? Drop me a mirror emoji in them comments if you have looked at a video today and you are like, yes, honey, I'm loving what I see looking back at me, right? And of course, I'm not just all talking about the physical, but I'm also talking inwardly. Like, are you feeling great about everything that you are projecting, everything that you are embodying, everything that you are feeling? If not, of course, I'm just going to encourage you to do what you must to get back to the healthier version of yourself. All right, y'all. Listen. This is Married at First Sight. UK is season 7. So, this is the first for us. So we gonna roll with it this season and see how it is. I'm gonna tell you already off top, I think it's gonna be a hot mess. Just from the episode, it's about to be a hot mess, okay? It's different from our usual Married at First Sight. Like, the format is different. It kind of reminds me of Australia. Like, I have watched those seasons before, but so we shall see. So they have like several couples, like a lot more than the 5 that we're used to, right? So we haven't met all the couples yet, but so it starts off with like the ladies meeting up and the men meeting up. So let me go correct that. So okay, they're in London, right? And so these couples, they have children, they may have been married before, they're all ages. I think we got one is like 51. He's Elton John lookalike. So we have higher age ranges. We have people, like I said, with children, been married, divorced before. And we have LGBTQIA. I'm trying to make sure I get all the initials. I think I did. IA plus, maybe. Forgive me if I didn't. But anyway, so we have a range of people. So when I say the ladies are on one side, know that I'm speaking is mostly ladies, and then there's one guy, Tom, that is gay and is to be married to another man. And then with the men, there is a female over there that is to be married to a woman. And I think her name is Zoe, if I'm not mistaken. But we didn't really delve into them yet, so that's why I'm kind of just guessing around. All right. But just know this. So when I say over there with the ladies and gent, that's the one gent. Or if I say with the fellas and the lady, that's what I'm talking about. Okay, so yeah, so we see them and they're all just kind of talking. You can kind of see like personalities that may be meshing. We see personalities that are not meshing. Over with the ladies are just kind of talking about what they ask the experts for. So on this format, we do have 3 experts. Let's see, Mel, Paul, and Charlene. So those are our 3 experts, right? And look, I'm trying to exit out, getting ads coming up. So anyway, so yeah, so they were just kind of all discussing like what they asked the experts for or whatever. And so there's this one chick, right? She is gonna be one of the messes for the season. On top, you can just tell, like, even like without her talking, like just her whole vibe. She comes in with this air like she's just above everybody, and she just talks like, yeah, like it's it's a mess. Anyway, yeah, her name is Whitney. And we did actually see her go through her wedding today. And so Whitney is 31 years old and she's a PA. And so I'm just going to have to assume that's a physician's assistant. I could be wrong, but it just said a PA. So that's what I know a PA to be. Anyway, so she described herself as a runner. She says when she sees even the slightest red flag, she usually is like, deuces. I'm thinking she be creating red flags is from what I see. And she's just looking for reasons to run. And you'll figure out what I mean later on when we get to her wedding or whatever. So as they're talking now, I'm back with the ladies, as they're talking and discussing what they wanted, like Whitney brings up this long laundry list of things that she wants in a man. And she says she expects to have it all. Like, there is no compromise to her list. And I'm thinking, like, baby, if unicorns really existed, like, no ma'am. No ma'am. Whitney, get yourself together. How are you this age and you really believe there's this perfect human being with all these things on this list that's like 100 bulletin points long? Like, no ma'am. No ma'am. That person does not exist. Only in your mind, boo-boo. Only in your mind. So anyway, so one of the ladies was kind of just telling her, you got to make sure you're open and you're willing to compromise. He might not have everything on your list, but he may have most. And Whitney was pretty much like, no, I'm getting everything on my list. And if I don't, like, that's the rap. Like, he's not the one then. And then she was just like, I felt like she was kind of looking at them like, these peasants, they are lowering their standards because they're willing to accept not everything that is on their list. You know what I'm saying? I was just like, oh. I feel like she wanted to say off with their heads or something, like, no ma'am. That's just the air she's giving. Like, the other ladies are peasants and I shall not be lowering my standards, and off with their heads. Like she's the queen. Like, no ma'am. No ma'am. No, ma'am. So, over with. No. So then we're still with the ladies, right? And they got the one guy in the mix now. That's Tom. So Tom ends up asking the ladies, well, who's gonna have sex on their first night or whatever. So we get some of the ladies saying yes, some of them saying no. And again, mind you, we have more than the usual 5 couples. I want to say maybe there are actually 8 couples. I want to say I counted 7 ladies and then Tom, the one gent. So I want to say maybe there's a total of 8 couples. And we didn't get to meet everybody specifically for who they were, but there was some that stood out this episode. So like Tom was one, and then there is Jenna. Now Jenna is 32 years old. She's a zero waste shop owner, and she is a lesbian. Or did she? I'm trying to think. Did she say she's a lesbian or bisexual? I can't remember. Don't mark my words. She's getting married to a woman, though. I will say that much. All right. And then, let's see. And then there was Jess that was kind of outspoken this episode. And she's 30 years old and she's a dental hygienist. Okay, so Tom, asked the ladies, who's having sex on the first night? So Whitney was with her little judgy self, Whitney was just like, no, she's not. And then she said pretty much that the other lady should not either. And I was just like, I was trying to see what I had written about this situation. But Whitney is just very judgmental. Like these are the traits that are jumping out from her fairly quickly. And mind you, we haven't even gotten through the whole first episode. But like I said, these are the traits of her that are just jumping out. She's very judgmental, very judgmental. And like if you don't think the same as she does, it's like she just looks down at you. Like how some of the ladies said that they would have sex on the first night, and so for those, she was just like, ugh, like you don't have to agree, you know what I'm saying? But that doesn't mean that you should look down on the other people because they feel differently from you. Like that's just not right or whatever. And so like even her whole attitude, she just looks like she doesn't want to be there amongst the other ladies. Like she's just leaned back, her eyes are halfway closed, and she's just very closed off. She's very closed off. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, like I said, she didn't say that she would, and she didn't just say that she wouldn't, but she tells the other ladies that they shouldn't. Like, who are you to tell these grown women what to do? So in her confessional, Whitney was basically like, if you have sex with on the first night, like what are you giving them to work towards, basically? And okay, granted, I get where she's coming from, but also there's a way to deliver what you say. You catch more bees with honey than you do with vinegar. And her whole snootish, looking down at you attitude, it just was not getting it across. So anyway, yeah, so she's just like, if you hand it over to them, what are they working towards? So Jess pipes up. Jess has gotten offended. And she was just like, well, if I want to sleep with my man on the first night, this is my business. I'm going to sleep with my man. Touche, Jess, touche. You know what I'm saying? And here go Whitney. Well, do you, babe? Do you? I was just like, oh, child. No, ma'am. And then Jess, because like they had a whole stank vibe between the two of them going, Jess and Whitney. So then Jess gets her confessional and she calls Whitney a bitch. I'm telling y'all, this is gonna be some mess. Let's call that woman a bitch. I said, well, no. Anyway, so they did talk about who is going to be walking them down the aisle, right? So Whitney said no one. And then Jenna, the one who's to be married to another woman, said that no one will be walking her down the aisle either. And Whitney is like, well, what's your reason? So here go Jenna. Cause I'm an independent bad bitch. Guess that Chad. Cause I'm an independent bad bitch. A bad bitch. But anyway, Tom, he pipe up. So Tom and Jenna seemed to have a little friction going on because Tom was just like, just because you have someone to walk you down the aisle does not make you not an independent bad bitch. I'm just like, okay. I said, oh, child, these folks are getting on my nerves already. So, I mean, they was like literally going back and forth about this whole issue. And so, yeah, they got into their little tussle over giving somebody how giving somebody over is like saying you own them versus part of the versus them being the two of them, because Tom is marrying another man, and of course Jenna's marrying a woman, that both of them coming or being part of the LGBT LB shoot, I don't know. Lesbian, gay, LGBTQ community, that she should be proud to have somebody walk them down the aisle because they fought hard just to be able to marry the same sex. And listen, I was just like, oh, these people are just tussling over the pettiest of things. If that is not for you, that is not for you. If it is, it is. Why you got to make a whole big issue out of it? That's what I'm trying to see. Like, for real. Is it that serious? Like, let me know. Like, what am I missing? Because, baby, I don't understand it. I don't get it. But yeah. And so, yeah, so that the two of them seem to have a little tension. You know what I'm saying? So Jenna ends up shutting it all the way down when she was just like, well, my dad passed away too, so there's that. So everybody was like, oh, and it got quiet for a minute or whatever. And so Tom then end up asking, well, if he was here, would you have him walk you down the aisle? Like, Tom, does it matter? Does it matter, Tom? Why? Why did you ask that question? Did it really matter? Did it really matter, Tom? He's not here to do it anyways. And if she wanted that, she could have found somebody else. So, did it really matter? But anyway, so Tom, yeah, asked her that. And so Jenna was just like, no, you know what I'm saying? And so Whitney ends up piping up. Oh, that doggone Whitney. And so she just says, that her reasoning for not having anybody walk her down the aisle is pretty much the same. That, it would have been her mom, but her mom passed away as well. And so it was about, again, everybody was like, kind of like, oh, So Whitney and Jenna, they end up kind of bonding over the loss that they both have lost their parents, basically. And so they get up and they like hug it out. And I said, I wonder if that's why Whitney is coming off so detached and unbothered. Because she is. And it's bad. It is bad. Like, it is not even subtle. It's just like, I'm serious. Like, I feel like I found myself questioning myself, like, is she a character? Like, is she an actress? Like, did they hire her? Like, are some of these people real and some of these people actresses? Because that's what I'm feeling in my spirit. Because surely there's no human being walking around acting like this in real life. I don't get it. Like, oh, y'all gotta see it. If you haven't watched it, you gotta see it to know what I'm talking about. But anyway, we see the experts finally, Paul, Mel, and Charlene, right? So Paul goes to talk with the men and the one lady over yonder. And then Mel and Charlene go over where the women and Tom are and talk to them, just about the process, what to expect, yada, yada, yada. And so, then we just see them partying it up. They like turn the F up. I don't know. It was just like their bachelorette and bachelor party, but yeah, they just started turning all the way up. Right? So just back at the experts table, we are now learning about the couples. who they have matched and why. And so this episode, we end up seeing two weddings. It was Shanita and Jordan. They said they are a good match because both of them come from single parent households. Houseway, how does that make you a good match? Because y'all can relate on that. Like, I don't get, to me, that a good match does not make. Just because, yeah, I mean, it could be something relatable, but not necessarily a good match, if that makes sense. But anyway, so yeah. Plus, they said Jordan has a nurturing soul and Shanita needs nurturing, whatever that means. I will say, I noticed this, that the two weddings that we did see on this episode were both biracial couples. Like, both of the ladies were black, and then, you know, they married, whatever. So yeah, I thought that was okay. Anyway, I just thought I would throw that in. I just noticed that by the time I was ending the episode, I was like, okay, both the ladies that we saw get married were black. Okay, they were both women of color. All right, so anyway, Whitney and Duka are paired. And so they paired them together because Whitney has a powerful personality. And then what the expert said, she has high expectations, unrealistic expectations. I said, bingo, bingo. There you go, unrealistic. Because, baby, when she said the list. So anyway. But she did say that Duka will give her commitment and resilience and stability. You know, one of the other experts gonna chime in, but she sees fireworks later on. So let me tell you about those that got paired. So I already told you about Whitney. And so she's getting married to Duka. He's 31 years old. He's an HR consultant. He says that he's very protective. He likes to have a good time. He's an only child. He was bullied as a child because his parents came over from Yugoslavia. And when he came, he didn't know how to speak English. And he just did not fit in by looks. He couldn't really speak English again. And so he was bullied as a child. His parents are still together. He said he is pretty picky, but he loves nice eyes, a nice smile, and a big booty. All right, so that's Duka and Whitney. Next couple is Shanita and Jordan. So Shanita is 29 years old. She is a social worker. She has a dog and a cat. Her mother had her when she was 16. So her mom's was a teen mom, and her mom was in an abusive relationship, and that affected her relationship with her mom, and they didn't always have the best relationship, but now they are back on track and doing better than ever, and they're trying to continue to move forward in their relationship, right? And Jordan is 29 years old. He's an account manager. He likes to party. His mom, she's a single mom. I think he has another sibling, and then his mom also fosters two little kids. I said, oh, that's sweet. You know what I'm saying? And so those are the two couples that we see get married, right? So they have to now tell their friends and their family about what they're doing as far as getting married at first sight. And so Jordan, he's telling his friends and the family, and Jordan mom is just shocked. Like, she's shocked. But I think she eventually comes around. Now, Whitney goes to see her aunt because her mom is passed. So her aunt was just like, no. Whitney said, yes. Her aunt was like, no. Whitney was like, yes. Auntie said, no, you are not getting married, sis. You're not getting married. Please don't tell me you are getting married. But, Auntie finally did come around or whatever. Anyway, one no thing with Duka. Shanita's mom. Oh, Shanita's mom, when she told her, Shanita's mom was pretty much like, what the hell? Her mama was all frowned up. She said, but she did started crying. She got all teary-eyed, and she, in her confessional, she was just like, her daughter deserves this. She deserves to be happy, and she just wants the best for her. But at first, she went, she was all proud up in the face, like, what the hell? I love her mom's relationship, though. Oh, that was sweet. So, anyway, y'all, it's wedding day. All right. So we see Whitney. She gets all emotional while she's getting ready because basically she's missing her mom as far as being there and being involved in like one of the most amazing days of her life, right? So that's to be expected. She's missing her mom's presence or whatever. All I could think was, I just hope she does my boy right. Do Duka right, and do him right. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, and I said at least he got a beard, because that's one thing that Whitney kept harping on that was on her list. He must have a beard. But every time she got to say that in the camera, she kept saying he has to have a beard. And it does not need to be a patchy beard. Girl, I'm with you on it. Like I ain't gonna say they gotta have a beard, but if you got a beard, don't let it be all patchy and don't nobody want to see that. Like, let it be full, and I don't want to see no ragged either. Make sure it's all nicely cleaned up. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I said, oh child, at least he got a nice looking beard. But anyway. This is another difference, y'all. They be having the most beautiful venue when they be having these weddings. Like, even when I be watching Australia, I just be like, wow. Like, it look like they're like at a castle or something. Like, it is gorgeous. Like, the grounds itself is just gorgeous. The inside, like, I love it. Like, they go all the way out. Like, as far as like the decorations and everything, like, I mean, they be having like fresh flowers everywhere. Like, it is gorgeous. It is gorgeous. That's all I can say. It is gorgeous. Like, I think they still have about the same number of guests that we're used to seeing on the regular mails. But yeah, to me, as far as like the decor and the venue, they go a lot. They go way out than what we usually get. But anyways. Duka, we see him at the altar waiting on Whitney. Whitney is somewhere freaking out. And I said, you know what I'm just thinking about? I said both of these couples are biracial. I meant to say interracial. Y'all forgive me. Look, anyways. Duka at the altar. I don't know why they just... y'all see how random my mind can be sometimes? Y'all just be like, don't pay me no mind. Don't pay K no mind. I promise y'all. Anyway, look at the altar. And Whitney freaking out. And y'all, she started walking down the aisle. She walking so fast. She's not like trying to be slow and cute about it. Because at first, the way she was walking, I was thinking she was not at the aisle yet. I'm thinking, because she came down like some steps. So I'm thinking she walking to get to the aisle. Like, that's literally how she was walking. Like, she was trying to get somewhere versus, oh, let me walk this aisle gracefully and take in this moment, baby. So she walked on down the aisle. Whole time, we get a narrative of her saying that she hopes he's perfect, because if he isn't, she's not accepting anything less. And I was just like, oh. So when they finally see each other, Duka, he seems pleased. Seems to like what he sees before him. However, she does it. Like I told you, her face says it all. She did not say like she liked what she saw. She did not like what was standing in front of her, right? And so apparently he's not tall enough, right? She said she wanted someone who towered over her like a house, and he's more like a shed. That's exactly what she said, y'all. I said, well, I be. And it's not like she is taller than him. Even with heels on, she's still not gonna be taller than him. Like, why, girl? This is why. So anyway, I just said this is why you single right here. So at least she is pleased with the beard though. So she tells him that she's halfway in between saying her vows and halfway in between running away. Who says that? Who? I mean, and then Duka was just like, he was looking out like, okay, what do I say to that right now? You know what I'm saying? I said, oh, poor Duka, poor Duka. And so they end up, the officiant end up just going forward with the wedding, right? And so Whitney wouldn't even look at him. Like, she looking all around, looking up. Like, literally, this is what she is doing. Like, as if, I don't know. Like, it wasn't important enough for her to be there and for him to have her attention. And so she was just like, this is the worst thing I have ever done in my life. And even when like it came to putting the rings on y'all, she took forever to give him her hand. You know how they be like, now you take her left hand, put the ring on, and repeat after me. Like she would not give him his hand. I mean, would give him her hand. I was just like, girl, you being childish right now. And so, she finally gave him her hand. And then when she does, you know how, like I said, the officiant will be like, repeat after me. And every time the officiant says something, now this is him putting the ring on her hand. So he has to repeat after the officiant. Every time the officiant says something, she's saying something else. So she's over talking the officiant. And it was so bad to the point where Duka had to ask the officiant to repeat himself. Like, it was just crazy. And it wasn't just no one time. It was every time like the officiant say a little bit and wait for Duka to repeat and then finish something else and wait for. I was just like, oh, every time she had something smart to say. It was crazy. It was crazy. And so she kept saying like little stuff. And it was just, it was childish. It was ridiculous. It was insensitive. It was, yeah. It was a mess. When I say you from the beginning, this is going to be a mess. This is what I'm talking about when I say this is going to be a mess. And I did Fenta. Oh, anyway. It just seemed like this was all a joke to her. So Duka's dad said he feels bad for his son because Whitney is not taking in the situation the same as his son is. So when they got to the you may kiss your bride now, I was just like, oh, he ain't finna let her. She is not about to let him kiss her. So we ain't got nothing to worry about right there. So, and of course, she did. So they kind of just did the double kiss on her cheek, like, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. And that was it. So Duka said that he could tell that Whitney has her walls up, but he's going to stay true to himself. I said, Duka, you are so positive. So Shanita and Jordan are up next. They meet at the altar. And I mean, their wedding vibe is totally different from Whitney and Duka's. Like, the atmosphere was just a lot more lovely, relaxed, like joyful. So they both see each other and they seem pleased with what they see. He's a little funny in his vows. He started out by saying, you know, my mom taught me when I was little not to talk to strangers, but here I am marrying one. Sorry, Mom. You know, so everybody got a little chuckle out of that. They actually end up kissing at the altar. I'm really liking these two. They are adorbs. I'm gonna be rooting for them. Yes. So Shanita and Jordan, yeah, I like these two together. So it's picture time, and we see them talking, taking their pictures. Like, even these two, when they were taking their pictures, they just seem more relaxed together and just to be enjoying each other or whatever. They're asking questions, you know, just general, like, how old are you? Like, what do you do? Do you cook? Like, so they're already starting to ask questions about one another. However, over with that thing, Whitney. Whitney and Duka, you know, they're taking their pictures as well. So she worried about stuff like to degrade him, talking about some. How tall are you? He said 6'2". And you talking about she wanted somebody 6'5". So he's not tall enough for her. So Duka said that Whitney is coming across unimpressed with everything about him. And I feel bad that he's already picking up on it. Like, again, you are just here taking your pictures and your wife done made you feel like that already. You know what I'm saying? Even like when they were taking their pictures, it was awkward. Like when they were trying to pose them, it was just, Whitney was just like, no. She was just like being incooperative. Just, she wasn't smiling. Yeah, she was just, So now it's reception time. And Jordan's mom is talking with Shanita. Like the families just seem to be getting along well right now. And so he said, you know, he could tell that his mom really likes Shanita or whatever. So I heard somebody trying to walk into my room. But I'm trying to talk to my YouTube people. Like, well, I mean, no interruptions. Like, better hold your mute. But anyway, yeah, he said he could tell his mom really likes his wife or whatever. Over with Whitney and Duka's reception. Oh, child. So, you know, the guests are already there when they walk in because, you know, they went to take their pictures. And so when they walk in, Duka kind of tries to break the ice by asking, how is everyone feeling, right? And then he proceeds to thank them all for attending the wedding, like just to be there to support them. And Whitney is over there rolling her eyes as he's talking and addressing everybody. She's like, and I'm just like, what is wrong with this girl? And so in her confession, she's like, oh my gosh, that boy is a showman. I was just like, girl, stop. Like, with them doggone darn sleepy eyes of yours, just stop it. Stop it right now. First of all, that is a grown man. That is not no boy. Second of all, what's wrong with him being polite? Because certainly you missed that class when you were in kindergarten. The teacher talked about being polite to others, but certainly you missed that one. Were you out sick? Did you have the chicken pox or something? Because, baby. So then she ends up asking him, like, what's his sign? And he said, he's a Gemini. And here she go, oh, yeah, that explains it. Like, with her face all turned up. And he was like, that explains what? And she says, that you are, a showman. He then proceeds to tell her, like, no, that's not me. My family came from Yugoslavia. I could not speak English. I got bullied. So communication is very important to me. Like, girl, I'm telling y'all, that Whitney, she's a hot mess. Anyway, so he thinks her walls may be a challenge that he can't overcome. And so I see she's definitely she is definitely an ice queen, Duka. I don't know. I wouldn't even be wanting to try to tear them walls down, but you know. Anyway, Whitney decided she needs to all of a sudden get up and go talk to her best friend. Like, she just couldn't wait, talking about, I can't hold it no longer. And it was like in the middle of a conversation with her and Duka. Like, it was just rude. Like, and Duka was left sitting there like, you know what I'm saying? And so when she does that, she goes over to her best friend. She tells her that she feels like he's a good person with a good soul, but basically, he ain't her type. And so when she gets up and leaves Duka, his dad comes over to him to talk to him, right? So dad says, he's impressed with how Duka is handling the situation. He's being a gentleman, basically saying, I know I raised you right, and I'm glad to see that, the fruition of that, because, you could be handling this situation a lot worse than what you are, but you are handling it with grace. Right. And so dad starts voicing his concerns about Whitney. Like, he's like saying, basically, dad don't like her. Dad does not like her. And that's all it is. But look how she's acting too. And so Duka said, he's trying to be optimistic and saying that it's probably her nerves. Like, he's already making excuses for her actions. Like, don't do that, Duka. Do not start that, Duka. Do not start that. And so dad thing was, you were in the same exact position as she was, and you did not act like that. So look, y'all. So we didn't tell her best friend, you should go over there and talk to him. Or maybe we can bring him over here and both drill him. So I was like, oh. So the best friend was just like, well, what's his name? Y'all, this woman here gonna act like she know his name. And I feel like she was doing this on purpose. She was just calling him everything but Duka. Dimitri or Dushan, or, I feel like she was trying to be funny. Like, just the way she was saying it. Like, I feel like she was probably making fun of his name and trying to be funny about it. But anyway, I just say I'm not feeling her. So over with Shanita and Jordan, right? It's toast time. And her mom ends up getting up and she does the toast. And she got emotional again. Because remember now, they're working on making things better or whatever. And so I love their relationship. Even though it was not on the best, you can tell that they're back close now or whatever. So, yeah. I made this comment. The two receptions, you could tell the difference. Like, again, Shanita and Jordan's reception, totally different from Whitney's and Duka. Like, there seems like the people are having fun. Whereas on the other side, just seemed to be a lot of tension and the people are not mingling. They're unsure of how to act because how that doggone Whitney acted. Like, are we supposed to be happy for them? Or are we, like, they don't know what to do. They don't know how to feel. You know what I'm saying? Because this heifer here just, oh, child. Oh, I was trying not to call her heifer. I was. Lord, forgive me. Anyway, Jordan, he gets up and he does a toast as well. And he ends up just speaking about his Nana, who has gone on to glory, so she's not there in the physical. But he had like a picture put up of her on the table. And so he ended up starting getting emotional as he's talking about his nana, how he always thought she would be here for this moment. And Shanita ends up getting up and going to kind of support him and comfort him. And I love that she did that because, he was, of course, standing up like by the podium or whatever. Not only did she get up and go like hug him, she stayed with him. I said, oh, look at her. They're going to be, I really do. I like them together already. And I'm hoping that they come through. So anyway, yeah, that was just a sweet moment. And his mom definitely picked up on that. Like the fact that Shanita also went to go support him and, gave him to let him know that he wasn't alone in that moment while he was talking. You know what I'm saying? So Mama picked up on it and said she liked that she did that as well. Back over with Whitney and Duka, y'all. So they're out talking on like the little balcony, and she tells him that she thinks he has a good soul. And I literally wrote this, y'all. At this point, I can't even stand the way she talks. She is a fraud. I wrote that in my notes. I can't stand this woman. Like, I cannot imitate the talk. I can't. But it's just be like, I can tell you're a good person. Like, I can't do it. Oh, I can't stand it. I can't stand it. I cannot. Anyway, he says, he ends up telling her that when she opened up about her mom not being there, and why she wasn't there, that he wanted to reach out and give her a hug, right? And so he's kind of asking her, like, how is it? She's just like, it's some bullshit. He tells her, he thought she was a strong woman. And she said, it's like a mind fuck. Like, she literally just started cursing. And she was just like, yeah, it's like a mind F. She said, and I get what she was saying, but I'm laughing, but I do understand what she said. Basically, she was saying it like messes with your mind. Because she said she never thought that her mom would go to work and not come home. And so now she has a fear of letting other people in because maybe they will go to work and not come home. So now that did make me feel for her. And I get that can be so hard. Like, I can't imagine, what it would be like to lose a parent. But I can just only imagine that it has to be the most difficult thing, one of the most difficult things that a person would deal with. So, especially when it's unexpected. Like, it's not like they have lived their life and it's just their journey has now come to an end. But when it's like something so unexpected, I just cannot even imagine. But yeah, so I can see her kind of opening up in this moment to him. And so even Duka kind of took that in. He was just like, he sees that she has a fear of loss. And he said this is kind of explaining why she is the way she is. But my thing is, like, that is no excuse, though, for you to be acting out here like you are in these streets, Whitney. Like, you need to go get some help. Go get you some therapy, girl. And this is the last place you need to be on this show, marrying somebody at first sight. All right, now back. I said, oh, wait, baby, this is going to be a long 2 weeks for these people. Like, Duke, I like that you are being optimistic, but baby, you about to have your hands full. Anyway, y'all, that was the end of the episode. That's all I get. So that was 2 couples. So we got 6 more to go. Yeah. All right, don't forget to hit like. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And as always, I'll pray for you all. Y'all, please pray for me. And what? Bye, y'all.